Welcome to our Jawan movie review. So Malik, what did you think of that movie?
It was pretty interesting. Action was pretty good. The whole plot line definitely had a whole lot of twists and turns to it, but um, it was pretty interesting. I was entertained throughout, and it definitely kept me sort of thinking about where they were trying to go with it and what was the next turn, and especially with each little almost like a Charlie's Angels kind of thing going on with the inmates that he works with and everything. So many twists and turns, but I was definitely entertained, and you could tell this was like a super high budget action film. So
No, yeah, yeah, I couldn't keep the mask on. That was too much. But yeah, I feel like did I okay? So when I told you this was a Bollywood blockbuster, did I undersell?
nah, this definitely had the look of it. Like you could tell it was high quality, sort of the some the way some of the shots held on especially the
Yeah,
actor, the main stars, the time it gave them on their entrances. I could tell this was like a big event. You know what I mean? And that does even the actor showed up, just how the
I
crowd
feel like
reacted to everyone. You know what I mean?
this was
You
what brought
definitely
it,
feel like
especially
there's
since this was
applause
what they
breaks and
wanted a
stuff like
South
that. You
Indian
know,
actor to bring
just for
together.
welcoming
What it promised, I feel like it delivered. It was a mass, entertaining blockbuster movie that people came to have fun with. And me and Malik, we noticed this while watching it, was people were cheering multiple scenes. The face reveal, the anytime he did an action scene, certain character reveals. You were there. You saw how many times people were screaming. And
I know the during the sort of music that sort of music video sections of a movie, I think there was some girls a few rows ahead of us who were
then
recording, had the dances memorized and everything like that. So it definitely was okay, it's definitely an event, how everything was. Speaking
exactly.
of the music videos, those parts presenting and the amount of quality, you can videos themselves, went into it. So it's
Hmm.
definitely left a good standard, you know.
No, yeah, I feel like so I think the songs were good. The only one I kind of found underwhelming, I don't know if they were same for you because for you it's more of just a vibe was this is obviously in this part we're not going to mention spoilers. I feel like the one of the songs with Deepika Padukone, the actress that is in the past, that's all I'll say, who's not the main Tamil actress, a bit more vintage. I feel like the song could have been a bit more better. I feel like was kind of lackluster for sure. I could see they wanted to do the old vibe where people were like hype. They were maybe they didn't get up, but their hands were moving. That song, they were just like, okay, they're like yeah, the actress,
Yeah,
they cheered for her, but the song was okay.
I can definitely see that, especially at the point of the story that it was in. They're not going to go deep into spoilers, but
Hmm.
that song, that portion, it was definitely just trying to get something across very quickly, and so I guess that was communicated through the song itself. Very simple, very straight to the point. Here's what we're telling you about these characters. There you go. As where the other ones were more like you said, a bit more hype, a bit more eventful. You know,
Yeah,
the one towards the beginning was the first one, so they have to go bombastic, and the one at the end was celebratory and wrapping everything up. So this one was just telling you here's these characters, here's how you should view them. There
hmm
you go. So,
yeah. So it was interesting. So let's start off with let's be a bit more while I was simple. Watching the movie, one from the trailer, I feel like this movie did there wasn't a lot where usually I'd watch the trailer. The fact that the trailer I know the scenes at the end it was spoiled. So plot, I think the trailer showed a lot at the beginning, It didn't show you the story where when you're watching it, you're genuinely sitting down and you're watching a movie where you're seeing things unfold instead of thinking that was in the trailer, that wasn't. That is definitely a plus point for this movie, and I feel like that added to the story of the movie where I enjoyed a bit more because of that.
I did like looking back at the trailer. I think I said it get the vibe that it's like definitely like a action sort of like spy kind of feel, maybe government related, but like with the actual look looking at like the actual plot and what the characters were after and what their goals were, I definitely didn't like. I wouldn't have guessed that through the trailers. I wouldn't have got the feeling of like I didn't finish watching the trailer thinking like I saw half the movie.
Exactly.
A lot of the movie was hidden behind like very basic stuff just to get you interested, and
Mm-hmm.
then there was a lot more depth revealed you actually watching the movie itself.
So that I feel like definitely was a plus point for it. We mentioned the second plus point was the fact that it was a blockbuster movie. I believe it was highly entertaining definitely when you're watching it. And I feel like if you are going to watch this movie, I feel like more of the hype is in the movie theater. Cuz maybe at home the
I feel
vibe
like
will be
it
different, but while
definitely
you're
is
in that
more
movie
fun
theater
in
with
theaters.
I
These
don't know
huge crowds,
how it's
everybody
going to be,
cheering,
but I
everybody
feel
having a
like
good time.
even
The
maybe
song
on
on TV
TV
will
it'll
be
be
as
as
fun,
fun, the
but maybe
entrance
not as
music
fun.
hitting you on
What do you
blast.
think? I think as a, on a first viewing, at least seeing it in theaters would be good because, like you said, seeing how people reacted, the screaming, the applause, the excitement to see all these huge actors, it's I think of it. We kind of talked about it before, but it's almost like seeing an MCU movie opening night, where everyone is just excited to see these characters again and see the actors they've been like standing over like for the past few months or whatever on screen or interacting with each other. It kind of has that feel to it, so that's something you definitely want to see on the first watch. You definitely want to see it in theaters to get that sort of experience, and then you watch it at home, and the movie will hold up definitely. But I think just on a first watch should be in theaters.
I get that, and I feel like that's definitely a point. I don't know if maybe it's a less of a point as to or not. We'll think about it overall, but let's get a bit more to the story, where I feel like
Enjoy them,
it's
but while you're
interesting.
watching them,
Look, we
but
have these problems.
it's kind of
Boom,
like
story,
a
boom,
little
resolved.
choppy in the
Next
sense
problem,
that
boom, story,
there's
next
plot
resolve.
points that are
It's like even though the segments are nice, it feels like there's certain segmental problems. Even though there's this one big villain overall, the things that they're hitting on, the political messages, or the things that they're fixing along throughout the movie, they're doing it, but it's like literally a segment of the movie that's kind of different. It's a different part, but it's like okay, boom, problem, boom, solve. What do you think?
I think with a movie as long as this was, it has like I'm not gonna say complicated, but
Mm-hmm.
um, kind of like tackling a topic. It's very political in its message, so I think they had to like make it simple somewhere. And the way they structure the stories where they can do that. Like um, we want to kind of critique the government and how it acts here, and so we can focus on this here. Sort of what we mentioned, where kind of getting a little more into spoilers as far as the main romance plot of the story.
Mm-hmm.
That was incredibly simple, but in the midst of everything else that was going on, ABC plot lines, linear, something happened
Yeah.
in terms of like plot points. But I can see why because they'll say messaging and a lot of stuff
Mm-hmm.
said like very in depth. So in order, if you're gonna go in depth in some places, you gotta sacrifice in others. So
Yeah, I agree because the fact is, they know what the people are here for. They want action. They want the actors. Story, as long as it holds enough merit where I felt like it did, where it was enjoyable, and you're watching it and you're going, okay, it had a few characters that they wanted to dive through. It wasn't like just one character they're going for two characters. They wanted to go through a few characters, which I think they did good. Some of them were a bit fast, but I think it works out overall, story wise too. Um, Otherwise, I feel like this is what the movie was kind of trying to go for. I know we're not spoiling, we're not trying to spoil, so we are on like tiptoes around that area. But overall, I think the movie did. It was a good spy movie. You technically spy ish, right?
I, I would say it's like, yeah, it was a spy movie. A few characters were in positions where very top secret,
She was a good
very
character,
one
but her
hand
character
list,
went from
people who know their
I'm
mission and know their
with you
job,
or
you
I'm
know. So
not
yeah, like
with you, and then all of a sudden I'm I'll with you, admit which was
the
kind of flip floppy. It
female
was like,
lead,
okay, your character development is going to be a little rushed because we were developing you in the beginning, but now we have somebody else to develop, so we're going to move on from there.
I don't think they did the character a disservice, but it was definitely like, I had to put it like, I think the performance of the actress really carried the presentation of that character,
Exactly.
as far as like she's introduced and she's kind of she's kind of like almost like a sort of rival, I guess we'll say, and then she transitions in her roles, like you said, she's with, she's against, and she's with, and then she's against, and she's with. It's
Yeah.
like they do a lot with that, and I think it doesn't leave a whole lot for her. We know, for example, her family means a lot to her, and that's where a lot of her like
Mm-hmm.
characterization comes from. But I think that's like, again, that's in like one portion of it where it's like, okay, they basically just flat out tell you that it's going to be, and then move on, change. So, and we do see that performance really did a lot of like come up in later times, heavy lifting. Again, there's so much going
I feel
on.
like,
Some characters,
like we said before, the acting I feel like in the movie throughout was really good, and I feel that's what carried it. The star power carried it. The action scenes deliver. So since we can't do much without talking about spoilers, let's give this movie a review. Your prediction for this movie was a 7. Are you gonna stick with it, or are you gonna give it something higher?
I'm gonna go slightly higher. I'm gonna say 7.5. I feel like it was pretty good. Like I said, it sort of lives up to the hype and its presentation. To just as this being my first good sound movie experience in theaters, as far as the actual like action and things like that, it felt just as what you would expect from a big budget Hollywood movie. So, um, music was great. Obviously, we checked out some of those prior, but like I said, that was good there. Some good comedy, but very natural, you know what I mean? Not too forced, not too cringy. Um, yeah, I would give feel fine giving it a 7.5. You know, altogether it was really good. So
Okay. Um. So before I say my review, I'll point this out. I think I told you multiple times throughout this movie, which I think gives it more leeway. Was while I was watching it, I was figuring out certain things in the movie where I was like, "This is gonna happen." Well, I told you that throughout the movie, right? I was like, "Listen, that character is there.
yeah,
I'm guaranteeing
a few
you."
times he leaned over. He was like calling it now. X, Y, and Z is gonna happen. I'm like, yeah, okay. And then it happened. I'm just like, oh,
No, I feel like I've seen too many movies at this point, but the good thing about this movie was a lot of the things that I expected happened a lot more faster or a lot faster than I expected. So like you piece it together, but it's not happening like where you're like, okay, I've pieced the ending together already. It's like, okay, this is gonna happen, and then it happens a bit sooner, and there's more plot, which was a lot of plot that happens, but there you had a lot more to go into without being like I figured out the whole movie, which I kind of liked. And honestly,
you're more engaged. If you guess what's gonna happen, it happens like 10 minutes later. It's like, okay, on to the next thing.
mhm,
You know, instead of guessing like, oh, this person is the killer, so to speak. Now you gotta wait 2 hours for the movie to show you why you were right 2 hours ago. You know,
mhm.
so
So I'm gonna give this movie 2 reviews because with Bollywood movies, I like to give them two, just because it depends on what type of fan you're coming in as. So the good thing is, I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna give this movie a 7.5. It was mass entertainment. You didn't even know who the main actor was, but from the fans and from the way the reveals were, I think you enjoyed that part. You enjoyed like how they did the entrances and everything, right?
definitely.
Yeah, so because of that, since you're completely from outside perspective, I was thinking of giving this a 7, but I'll give it the 7.5 because mass entertainment, fun music, lively, cheerful, um, was great, action's great. If you're coming for that, it's definitely going to be a 7.5. You're going to have a fun time. For these movies, you can't expect, or like, yeah, you can have high expectations for a story, but when you're coming for a movie like this, I don't know what else you're looking for. You can't come into a Fast and Furious movie and be like, why isn't there logic? It's like, well, why did you buy the ticket for this movie? Like, you know what it's gonna be, and if you're gonna fool
Yeah,
yourself into thinking it's something else, I feel like that's on you. So that's why I give the two reviews. For the first review, I'll give it is a 7.5. That's what I'm giving the movie because that's what it deserves. It was a fun, entertaining film. Now, if I'm going to be very critical about it and I'm going to like nitpick and be like, oh, I thought maybe I'm coming for a seasoned actor to give me mind-blowing story after a long time or something like that, it's not that. The plot is a little contrived. It's a lot of multiple small things that are happening where you'll give it most likely a 6 then. If you're looking for something like I feel like if you're looking for like you've seen PK, you've seen Munnabai, if you're looking for movies like that where the plot is very heavy and it's like towards one point it's something logical, if there's something happening where they're fighting and there's like a John Wick scene, there's logic to it, but in this movie there's not gonna be because it's a mass entertaining film. So if you want to think that way, you're gonna think this movie's a 6 because you're gonna think the plot was bad. You're gonna definitely enjoy the action scenes, but you're gonna say the action scenes were bad also because of how unlogical they were. But I don't think that's what people are looking for when they come to this movie. So I'm gonna give this a 6 critic review, I guess, in the sense that you're analyzing this a lot more. You're probably gonna think it's lower, but I don't think you should hate on this movie for that. So otherwise, I'm gonna give this movie the 7.5. I think it delivers. It was really fun. The crowds, I feel like if you're gonna watch it this weekend because that's how you're gonna have the most fun.
I can definitely see where the 6 comes in. There are some points where, like, when you really think about it, there's some critiques that I have that could be like way more, but all in
Things.
all, with the
So when I
expectations I
come in for
had and the
this,
level
when
of
I know
enjoyment,
that the
it's gonna be
director's
a seven
known
point
for
five.
this, that's what
Yeah, like I
the
said,
South
if you're gonna
Indian
watch
directors
Fast and
coming to
Furious, you're
show a
not gonna hate on
older
this movie.
actor, a seasoned actor, and make him into a mass entertaining scenes and show him like that. He did his job. So I think it's 7.5, maybe even an 8, honestly, if you think about it like that. But it was enjoyable. So what I'm gonna say now is thank you guys for watching. We're gonna do a spoiler review now. If you want to continue, I don't know if we're gonna break this up into two parts or make it into one, but you can either go on to the next spoiler section, or you can look at the spoiler video. That will be able to freely talk about this movie a bit more. We thank you guys for watching. Follow,
Take care.
subscribe, whatever it is. Thank you guys.
All the good stuff.
Bye.
नाम नाम चले भी भाई